Hello and welcome back to the program. My name is Michael Finney. Today we are talking with three tattoo artists from the Chicagoland area. We're going to talk a little history, we're going to talk a little culture, we're going to talk a little craft. Will you guys introduce yourselves for the people that are listening, please?
Hello, I am Cody Wallenius from Chicago. I've been tattooing 20 years.
Hello, I'm Matthew Forkenbrock. I'm from Kankakee, Illinois. I've been tattooing about 10 years.
And I am Ashley Camp from Crown Point. I've been tattooing about 3 years.
Hey, this is fantastic. Glad to have you all on today. We're going to talk a little bit. You want to give us some of the background? Anybody can chime in. This is not, there are no strict rules here, so feel free to kind of have a conversation about it. But anybody that wants to talk about how they got interested in the culture, how they got interested in wanting to actually be a tattoo artist, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I kind of fell into tattooing, to be honest with you, but I got tattooed when I was 15, and always kind of had been around tattoos, never really had anybody in the family that was tattooing or anything like that, and seen tattoos on family friends and things like that, stuff that I would recognize, Harley stuff, tattoos, eagles and stuff. But then I got into tattooing really young and ended up, hanging out got a tattoo at 15, was hanging out at the tattoo shop at 16, and started by 18, and now I'll be 38 this year. It's 20 years I've been tattooing in the industry, in the business. So kind of just by chance, to be honest with you. I kind of found something that I loved and I ran with it. What about you, Matt?
I started way later. It took me a while to get into it. I used to be in a band, and I'd be home from tour. I would work for free tattoos at a tattoo shop, and they would offer me out a tattoo, and I turned it down for a while. I turned it down. I didn't want to do it. It freaked me out. And then I actually started tattooing 10 years later. I was going to school for architecture. I enjoyed the art classes more than the math classes. I already had a bunch of tattoos. It just made sense. And then spent about 5 years trying to find an apprenticeship. And I've just been tattooing ever since.
Yeah, right. Kind of took straight off from there.
Yeah, pretty much. I got lucky with a good mentor. And
who taught you how to
Tim Plumley.
Oh, okay, cool. Did Tim pass away? Dan passed away.
No, Dan did actually.
Yeah, the brother passed away. So I don't know them personally, but I do know them through other folks, and they're great tattooers. They're good guys, from what I understand.
Yeah, they're really good.
Dan had passed away in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's fairly recent.
Yeah,
maybe like a year, if that.
Where did he teach you? Down in Kankakee, or where?
Yeah, down in Kankakee. I was living in Phoenix, and I couldn't find anybody to teach me out there. My art was crap at the time, but I was trying. And he took me without even looking at my stuff, and then I just kind of went from there and figured it out.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
He told me the first day if he looked at my stuff before I moved here, he would have told me no. He would have sent me back.
Yeah, for sure. I quit while you're ahead many times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually started at a shop that was owned by the world famous Roy Boy. I don't know if you ever know who that is.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, Roy Boy. And I started at a shop that was his. He ended up pulling out in the middle of the night and then left it to one of the guys. And then that guy is who taught me. But inadvertently, I am Roy Boy lineage. And I still go by the shop in Gary. We still hang out with the wife. She's still around. Deb is great. Shout out to Dangerous Deb, if anybody's listening to this. Yeah, we love Deb. Debbie's the shit, living legend. She's still running the shop in Gary over there, and it's still Gary, Indiana. I'll fucking tell you that much. But
Yeah.
Good job, and she runs a good shop, and Debbie's great. But she's been in the business for fucking years, probably
forever.
Decades might be the better way to say it.
Decades, man. I mean, Roy opened that shop in 68, so 70, it would have been fucking, decades now. But he died in 2010 or 2012, and
July 22nd, 2010.
Yeah, 2010.
Historians over here.
Yeah, historians. Yeah, we get around and check out all like the historical stuff in the grand scheme of tattooing and stuff, and that's kind of what we get into. But
Before we get into that too much, let's get a little bit of background from Ashley. Tell us about your path.
Well, so I've like been drawing and been into art since I was really, I mean, that's my first memory is drawing in a coloring book. But I remember I was at home and my sister came home with her first tattoo. I was 17 and she was just like, this is what you need to do. These are your people. She went and got tattooed at Roy Boys. And ever since then, I've wanted to get into tattooing. I started young getting tattooed. But it was very much, nobody really wanted to mentor a young female. It was really hard. And I met Cody, and after we started dating for 3 years, I asked him, and at first he was like, "Nope, no, not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't have time for that. I don't have the inclination for it." And then I decided I would paint some portraits and show him that I was serious and that I had talent, and I did that, and he was like, "Okay," and the rest is history. We're here now.
She was worthy for sure.
Very good. So you guys want to go into some of the culture or maybe some of the historical things that you were touching on before? I know that Cody and Ashley, you guys kind of go to conventions and stuff like that too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We travel the country really, and internationally, even as of late. We'll be in Puerto Rico before the end of the year, and then we're hoping to be in Europe kind of towards Christmas. But I travel the entire country and tattoo anywhere and everywhere that I can. But we get around and check out the tattoo museums and any sort of tattoo exhibits that they have. And then I even get into the historical tattoo stuff with some of the guys that collect all the historical stuff. Dana Brunson is a good friend of mine, or Nate Harmon. Some of these guys own massive collections of actual tattoo history stuff that has, been passed down and bought and traded and sold. And, it's at the point now where they have, a collection, and I have a collection as well too, but nothing like Dana. I mean, Dana has real Sailor Jerry sheets and real Ben Corday stuff. Like he has 4 Stoney Sinclair sheets above his bed, like he sleeps with them. Like it tickles me to go to his house. He's like a total tattoo nerd, and he's like my spirit animal. Dana Brunson is the man. Shouts to Dana. But just like these, there's a couple guys that really get into it, and I think that motivates me to, get into the historical stuff of the tattooing and further myself in my career, and because it's one of those things, like we do it for a job, but ultimately, like, you love it, you eat shit and sleep it. It is what it is. And, if you don't get around and see the, exhibits and, people, the collectors collections. And, if you can't nerd out on the tattoo stuff, like, what are you really doing? Yeah. I guess
we've let it consume us.
Yeah. Sure. It's definitely it's an all consuming thing, but.
I personally haven't done a convention in a long time. Which ones do you guys do? Like villain arts or?
Yeah, villain. Anything we can get into. Detroit. I've been to Queen Mary and L.A. Anywhere that I can get into.
Nice. I'd love to start doing more of that. I've done Baltimore as the farthest one.
Yeah, totally.
That was awesome.
And I think that anybody that can, if you can put yourself out there any further than you already have, you should. And as a tattooer, it's one of those things where you do a craft that, like, you could pretty much tattoo in other countries that they don't even speak your language, but they understand what you're doing. So you could further yourself in your career by putting yourself out a little bit further, or putting yourself out further than the next guy. You're in the money. You know what I mean? Because
for sure,
it's definitely effort. It's like who the conventions you do and all that kind of stuff. But if you're a good dude and you do good tattoos and you get around and you can make friends easy, like, you'll be fucking fine. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of really good people that are still in tattooing.
Oh yeah, I always tend to miss a lot at the same places, so I can get out more, break that.
Yeah, totally, and like, just get around. And I'll tell you right now who did it. I did a convention one year with Randy Randerson, and Randy's my fucking boy, but he was right next to us. We ended up meeting, and then he ended up telling us, like, hey, if you guys ever want me to come to Chicago, I'll come to Chicago. And I was like, please, you know, so he ended up coming and staying on my couch a couple times and tattooing with us. This is long before Monday Malarkey and Rip and Dip and all this Dip and Rip and, you know, the Thunderdome and all stuff is long before. And he was traveling and he was just like, listen, I'll go anywhere that I can go to make a name for myself and put myself out there. And that really struck a chord with me in the grand scheme of, you know, tattooing. Cause like, you know, if you're a good dude, you're a good tattooer and you get around and you make friends, like you should be fine. You know what I mean? Like there's still, you know, people want to say tattooing is dead and all this. And I don't think so. I think tattooing is more alive than it's ever been.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, are you busy? I'm busy as fuck. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, constantly.
I feel for what it's worth, when I started, there was weeks where you were sitting on your ass doing nothing for a week and be getting high at the shop doing nothing for 7.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in the back of the shop, fucking off. And it's like one of those things where now, like, shit, I'm lucky if I eat lunch.
Yeah, it's looking for a break.
You know what I mean? So like,
do you close your books, or do you just let them ride?
I don't book out as far as I used to. I would book really far in advance, and COVID happened, and I kind of had to sorry my way across COVID, and you know, I already had.
Yeah.
Just like it was a big fuckery, so I don't book out as far, a couple months at a time. But I travel a lot too, so I keep my books open a little bit, just so if you know something funny comes up, comes up, I'm okay.
Yeah, for sure. Gotta stay flexible.
Yeah, I try to stay a little flexible. 2 months or something. I don't like to go too farther than that because it you know, who knows what's going to happen. Was there something really fucking cool I want to go do, and I can't.
Good point.
You know, and then we have 5 kids too, so it's like, you know, what if one of the kids gets sick? What if and power goes out? You know what I mean? So like, I can't commit to a year out anymore.
Oh yeah, I got 2, and I don't know, damn 5.
Yeah. You know, it's like, and then if the kids get sick, fucks up your day, and then you can't, you know, and then you're 9 months out, and I got to book you back out in September, and then these guys are going, fuck man, September, and it's like, it's just hard. So I don't go too far out, but I do stay busy. I book out like crazy. Like I could book 2 years in advance if I wanted to, but I don't want to do that. You know, but it's like, it's good. I feel like tattooing is more alive than it's ever been, honestly. And I started a long fucking time ago, and I feel like I literally came in. So I started in like 03 or 04, and I feel like it was right before the shows, like the tattoo shows came out, and it was like, it was quiet for a couple of years, and then it went fucking nuts. And I feel like it's been nothing but upswing since then. And now I've tattooed everyone and their mom, and
or grandmas.
Yeah, man, I'm old now, and you're going like, Jesus, I'm tattooing sleeves on the dad, and now the dad's bringing the kids. He's 17, 18, and
it's weird. That's a weird one.
Kids and like, yeah, it's crazy. So I feel like no, it's gone nuts if you ask me. You know, and I tattooed in Chicago for 20 years, but I've been out here in Indiana. I'm just in Northwest Indiana, which is just south of the city. And I mean, we're busy. We stay busy. The phone's blowing up. Like we do a good shop. It's awesome. You know.
Did you say you were in Gary?
No. I go to Gary and tattoo. I'm in Crown Point.
Oh, okay.
Just south of Gary.
We work at Surefire.
Yeah, we work at Surefire Tattoo.
All right.
John.
Before we go into some of the other stuff, let me ask you what you think of your art style, or how you would define your art style. And let's hear a little bit from everybody in regards to, who their influences are, or where, they want to head in terms of influences or anything like that.
I mean, if you want me to go to first. So I would say like some of my biggest influences would just be like everything, honestly. I look at antiques. We buy and sell antiques. We have a couple of antique businesses right now, but we like buy and sell all kinds of shit. I get into graphic stuff. I do graffiti. I paint murals. I get into lettering. Like anything that I can get into. Like we collect all kinds of shit. Finney's been to my house. It's pretty, but I collect antique tattoo flash. So like I just feel like stuff gives me motivation, or gives me inspiration and things to think about, so like I feel like any of that kind of stuff kind of motivates me to keep going. But I think if I had to describe my style, I would say like heavy duty, or like I specialize in like Japanese stuff or traditional stuff. That's kind of what I like to do. But I always tease and say laser proof tattoos is what I try to do. You know? Like I would hope that it would take you 9 sessions to laser off. You know, that's what I aim for. But otherwise, just trying to use. You know.
Yeah, I guess for me, I guess for tattoo styles, I guess it depends if I'm doing color or black and gray. Really, if I'm black work, technically, I stipple, and my black work tattoos are on the darker side, like a little grittier, I guess. But I don't know, when I draw for color, it's like real bubbly and curvy and colorful, and I don't know, it's very different. 2 sides, you know.
Yeah.
But like when I draw, it tends to be like curvy, you know, like real like almost feminine, I guess, in a way.
Sure.
But like I don't know, like, you know, very careful color choices. But really, what I could do is mix like really solid, flat, traditional, like thick ass lines with black work, like real gritty black work.
Totally.
You know, like I really like, as far as like artists that I like Max LaCroix, like his black work is really good. My friend Craig St. Peter, shout out Craig.
Okay.
Dead Crown, the same guy.
Okay. I saw Dead Crown stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's from where I'm from out here.
Where you at?
In Kankakee, Bourbonnais, Bradley.
Okay.
It's all kind of the same.
Yeah,
you know, sure. But
they butt up to each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, like stuff like that. And like as far as like the color traditional goes, like I really like Matt Stagon.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen his stuff, he's awesome. He travels a lot.
Sure.
I don't know, but mostly like for inspiration wise, I guess like my kids draw a lot. And like some of the stuff that they draw, like it just gives me like the craziest ideas, or I'll just take their ideas and draw my own version of it.
Wow. You know? Wow.
And, it's just kind of fun to mess with that for them and whatnot. But I don't know, when I make art myself, I guess I prefer more like markers,
sure,
as opposed to like, I don't like to paint, you know, for some reason. Like I really just, I have to have like a precise line, and it drives me nuts if it's a painted line. I don't know.
It's hard.
Yeah, I haven't started painting on like glass. I've been trying that.
Cool.
You know, that's a lot of fun. And then I've been looking up stained glass and trying that out. But I don't know, it's like I just try everything a few times and kind of move on to the next, which is good, I guess.
Oh yeah, I think you'd totally be open to trying anything. You know, like I've done a little bit of anything and everything, and you know, how do you know you're not good at it until you try it? You know, like. You know, you might be the best stained glass artist that never lived. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah, for sure.
Until you get in it and you go, holy fuck, I've been tattooing this whole time, but I'm a stained glass master. You know, like you don't. I feel like you should try any medium that you know seems feasible, and then you know, if you don't really like it, then keep it moving. But I've tried a
couple gifts and move on.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I grew up doing portraits. I love drawing, painting portraits, things like that. And I also really got into trying to copy MC Escher's work. But as far as tattooing goes, ever since I learned about tattooing and understood, you know, kind of what a tattoo was, now I'm looking at the old timers of tattooing, and I feel like what influences my tattoo work would be more like an Ed Smith and George Burchett. And, you know, of course, Sailor Jerry, but
Diesel.
Yeah, Diesel, Almond Diesel, and just taking all that and just wondering how I can make that mine. You know, like obviously the art is the copying, and these original designs have worked for a long time for a good reason. And how can I take these and bring them into modern times to where somebody younger would want this tattooed on them? So that's where I'm at. But I haven't been doing it long enough to really feel like I have this definitive tattooing style yet. I'm still exploring. I love doing black and gray, realism, but my heart is definitely with that traditional, learning what tattooing was as a very young child was Roy Boy, just because Roy Boy was a local and very flagrant. Legend, yeah, an absolute legend. And I remember growing up and seeing him around town and seeing just how flashy and flagrant he was. And then
like tigers
and learning about
cage and
learning about
rings
his
and diamonds
tattoos.
And like dude, he was like the man.
Learning about his tattoos before even knowing what tattooing was. And seeing where he got his inspiration and all that, it's super interesting. And that's what I like to do, is kind of keep it super classic, super traditional, you know.
Do you guys want to talk technology at all? You know, what you like to use, or inks, anything that is in regards to the profession and the craft for people that might not know from the inside?
Okay, so I mean, yeah, if you want me to go first,
Anybody's allowed to talk. You know, I'm just kicking out prompts. You know what I mean?
Let's stick with the order. It's fine.
Yeah. So I am not anti-technology in tattooing, but I am anti-bullshit. And I feel like there's a lot of bullshit and fluff in the tattoo industry. And I am not on the rotary train. I am not on the cartridge train. I'm not on these things. And I'm not opposed to those things. And I think there's room for technological growth in the grand scheme of what tattooing is. I don't personally use it, but I also have strayed away from like tubes that I have to scrub and all this stuff. I'm all sterile, all disposable, you know, plastic tubes. Some of the old guys would fucking roll over in their grave if they knew I was disposable tubes. But you know, I still use a needle on a bar and a coil machine, and I think I prefer to know the maker of the machine. I would like to know the person that made it if I didn't make it myself, and that way then I can call upon them when my shit is fucked up, something's wrong. And I think that harkens back to like the old tattoo way. Like if you had something, you knew the guy that fucking made the thing, Paul Rogers or whatever, and you called down there and said, "Hey, my machine's fucked up," and they'll give you another one, and that way then it's you know, it's an easy transaction. It used to be a handshake, you know what I mean? Now it's so you order it over Amazon and you don't know who the fuck made that thing, and you know, this kind of thing. I don't care for that. I think that's something that's missing in the tattoo industry. And I like the fact that some people are getting back to building their own machines. Like I buy stuff from Soba in Grand Rapids, and I'll go to Soba's shop in Grand Rapids, or me and Randy make machines in Oklahoma City. I'll go to Oklahoma City and build machines with Randy. Or like I got a guy, Jeff, here that works in Griffith that makes great machines, Lefty's irons. I use them all the fucking time, and he's super local. So it's like one of those things that I would like to know the guy that makes my tools in that respect. No, you know, no downplay to anybody that uses anything else. I just think that me personally, I'd like to call upon the guy that made the thing that if it fucks up, I could call, you know? So I think a lot of the technological standpoint is, you know, it's cool where it's going, but sometimes I miss the old school ways. But I have advanced to like an iPad now, and I use an iPad, and I can paint and draw. I do all kinds of shit, but I do believe the iPad is a cool tool if you know how to draw or you're artistic.
And it's so efficient.
Yeah, if you use it the right way, dude, it's like a tool. You know, it's a tool in your arsenal for sure. You know, and I was kind of opposed to it at first because I'm just super old school about it. I just do everything by hand. I can draw. I could draw a back piece on you right now with a pen and a marker. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not real big on the, you know, iPad deal. I was trying to hold out to be the last, you know, the fucking lone Ronin at the end, but I've switched to the dark side, and I do the iPad, and I do believe that it makes sense, and it helps me to make merchandise and stickers and business cards and you know, gift cards and all these things. I feel like the digital aspect of it, if you don't get on board, you're going to be lost here shortly. So, you know, there's a ghost in the machine for sure. You know, I just think that if you don't know how to draw with a pencil before that, don't even fucking touch it. You know?
I agree. Because I mean, there's like I don't really like this. You can buy like stamp sets, just like stamp a tattoo. You know, like so like that part of it. Like I don't really like. I do like playing around with different brushes and, you know, just having fun with it.
No, totally. I think it's a cool for, you know, artists.
For me, as far as machines, I hate to say I started maybe 10 years after you, I guess. So like I have coils like I've used like, you know, like Mike Pikes and stuff like that. I was using Cubans for a while. Cuban Sidewinder. I love that one for lining. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a lot though. Have you ever used one?
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Heavy spitter. I have to like put my bar in upside down, and that works pretty well.
Yeah.
But actually, I just bought a Bishop wand like a week ago. Like I'm trying the wireless cartridge out. I haven't used cartridges ever or wireless.
Crazy,
so
right?
It's weird, but like convenient. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
For sure. It can feel weird sometimes, almost too light. Like I might drop it
Yeah.
just because it's barely there. But
well,
yeah, it's an interesting one.
A lot, and some of the big guys swear by it, dude. Corey Flat swears by cartridges and batteries and all this stuff, and like he's old, dude. He's an old guy, and he's going like, I'm telling you, I don't know why, but this thing works really well. So I'm not opposed to technology. I mean,
I resisted so hard though, but it was the cartridge thing mostly for me.
Yeah, totally.
'Cause, I just like the needle on the bar.
Yeah, right.
So that's gonna be hard to give up, but.
Yeah. I've only ever used coil machines.
Yeah.
I was apprentice.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
So
yeah,
he wants me to learn how to do everything on that machine before I try the other machines.
Yeah, unfortunately, my apprenticeship had no coils involved whatsoever. Like Tim didn't use them. He didn't,
No, totally.
Yeah, so he didn't really know much about them, and.
Yeah, and that's what I mean though. There's like time stamps to the whole thing. Where if you started at this point, you're going to be that point in the history of it.
Yeah, I've scrubbed tubes. I haven't made needles yet. That's coming up, but definitely had the breakdown with machines and all that during my apprenticeship.
Yeah, it's something good to know.
Yeah, so I almost wish I would have been like made to do that stuff at the beginning,
Yeah, totally.
Just to know out of curiosity. I've tried, but
yeah,
I can get the machine to run, but can't get it back all in the same together.
Totally. Yeah, for sure. It was different back in the day. You know what I mean? Like they would take my machine apart and leave it apart, and just be like, figure it out. And you'd have people, and you're like, "Are you fucking shitting me right now? Like, I got to put this thing back together, and I don't know shit about anything." And like you figure it out real quick, man.
Yeah, after you have, in that scenario.
And ultimately, it's just a machine. You know what I mean? Like once you figure out the inner workings of it, it's not that crazy. I fix everybody's machines at the shop. Within minutes. Anybody's got a problem, they give it to me because I'm like the shop dad, and they're like, and I'm like, I got you. Chill.
It's true.
Everybody's like, I got you, dog. Don't trip.
Yeah, I definitely had some people like that in town when I was using my coils for sure.
Yeah, those guys, dude. Those guys are few and far between. Make sure you keep friends with them.
I feel like. Because that was part of finishing the apprenticeship is building the machine, and I've definitely seen other apprentices and been like, well, they didn't have to build a machine, but at the same time, I truly appreciate getting that old school apprenticeship and understanding that part of everything, especially because I like the old school tattoos and the history of everything. So
I'm definitely not hazing her as much as I might have.
Smart, probably smart. Let me ask you this, Ash, since you're most recently having gone through an apprenticeship, walk us through some of the process and the phases of your apprenticeship. What was the beginning like? What did you evolve into? Where are you at with things now as you're coming into your own?
The beginning was painting. You have to do 1 to do 100. That was the big saying in the house. And like when he says we eat, breathe, shit, tattoos, that's what we do.
Yeah, just always, it's always going. Always doing something with tattooing.
The first thing he did was teach me how to paint flash, because when I painted a portrait for him, it was an acrylic portrait. It was not a watercolor portrait. And these are two different animals. So it was very humbling for her to sit down with watercolor and have to learn almost backwards process from what I've known or done my whole life. And so that was the beginning. That was like, prove that you're interested, prove that this is what you want to do. And it was sitting at home and looking at old flash. Like he has all kinds of books, a whole library of tattoo stuff, and going through the old stuff and tracing flash and painting flash and learning what paper to use.
Which guy did what?
Yeah,
what designs
started off with painting, and now we use like Idena pens to do lining and stuff like that. But it was from the beginning, it was learn how to do it right. And going through that portion of not doing it right was a lot, I guess. But then it kind of phased into, so I had worked at a tattoo shop before this. Like I said, I had always been interested in tattoos. I've been getting tattoos for a long time. And he just always said, like, be available where you need to be available. And so I know some tattooers that had worked at Tainted Skin, and that had since sold and moved and all that. And he was working at another place in Crown Point, and I know that they had taken an apprentice at Surefire, and my friend had taken the apprentice, and I had been watching. She was my friend, and just things kind of happened. He ended up going to work at that shop, and they needed a counter girl, and I knew about it because I was around, and getting into that position and starting off small and taking out everybody's garbage and washing everything and making sure everything functioned properly, and for not much money at all. Like a weekly tip, you know what I mean? And doing that, and while I'm still maintaining all this painting and still had to have a home life, And then it kind of got to where the counter girl there had, done her apprenticeship, and now it was my time to shine. It was get in there, show them that you want a tattoo, start doing the garden and all this other stuff for free. Start showing them that you're there because you want to be there. And it went from there. And then one day I tattooed somebody, and then I started collecting my machines and started collecting supplies that I would need and talking to people, and then just started tattooing. And I tattooed for free for a long time. I actually just started tattooing for money this past October. And so my tattooing has grown. I've had to do a lot of what the public wants, but you have these close friends that'll let you do these cool tattoos that
cool ones,
the cool ones that you've painted, or that you've the style that you want to be in. Because I would love to eventually fall into that folky, old school, traditional. But right now I'm still in that phase of doing whatever walks in the door. You don't turn down a tattoo. You do everything that comes your way.
Or maybe the other guys are turning down this stuff and they're like, Ash will do that one.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. They paid their
bread
dues.
And butter when you're young, man. Like when you don't really have, a year's waiting list. Like shit, dude. When I was young, man, like you would do everything that walked through the fucking door. If it was something that came in and you turned it down, like you were like chastised in the back, you know what I mean? And then the other guys would turn everything down, but they were already 20 years in, So now at 20 years, I'm turning shit down. But, the older guys would turn shit down and be like, if you don't do it, you're an idiot. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, I guess I'll do it, But I think that's how you make your money, and that's how you get clients, and that's how you build yourself and learn and all that kind of thing,
So now you're 6 months in. What's that look like? I imagine some people are starting to return. They're liking your style. They're liking your vibe.
Yeah, I feel like I've had a really positive response. I've done pretty minimal touch-ups. And nobody's come back gnarly or infected or anything crazy.
Critical.
Yeah, they stick. They're in there. They're good. I don't lose a lot of work. So that's exciting. I've had I've actually had a lot of people come and say they want to do this style of tattooing that I'm interested in doing, and that's good. And the other stuff, pays the bills and buys the birthday present, So I'm here. One day I would love to be that artist. But until then, I'm just gonna keep trying to prove that I want to be here.
Sounds good. Sounds positive. Sounds like the right direction in terms of development. Matt, chime in a little bit about your shop, how it operates, some of the folks that are there. You've been doing this for a while. It seems like there's a team over there, but you also have apprentices.
Yeah, I got so there's 3 artists there. One actually just came over from Northwest Indiana. She was working at a place called I don't know, it's slipping me right now. But yeah, she just came over, and then besides that, I got my brother-in-law Cam. So I got Cam and Nicole.
Okay.
So Cam's my brother-in-law. He's always been like artistic and doing things. I'm always like, dude, you ever think about tattooing? And I've been, years later, he's finally like, maybe let's give it a shot. And he did. And he's killing it. He's stuff's so clean and solid, and real proud of him. And then I got another apprentice. He's not an apprentice. He's been done for a while. And then Nicole came over. She does great work too. And the apprentice Andres, he's almost done. And his stuff's like, he's really into traditional, really into that, like draw it on paper, paint it on paper, which I respect about him a lot. And he's doing awesome too. I'm real proud of what he's done. And then I do have one that just started more recently, and she's been asking me for an apprenticeship since she was like 14. She's 19 now. So she just started. So she's been persistent. But yeah, I mean, well, I kind of let everybody do their own thing. I mean, I got into tattooing because I didn't, like, not only because of this, but it's nice not having someone tell me when and where to be and how to be, how late to be.
For sure.
I'm just not into that, and I don't want to be the person putting that on other people either. So we have a lot of freedom. Like, I'm not like, I'll be here till then, get here then.
For sure.
So the morale's pretty good. Everybody gets along. Everybody, does their part. Keeps busy, keeps the place clean, and I really have no complaints. So far, that route has worked pretty well. Of just kind of just functioning as a team and not laying a hammer down.
For sure.
I'm not that style anyway. There's no way I could never be like that.
Is it anything like being in the band?
No, not really. That that's kind of the same, except for that Mike was more in charge.
Yeah.
Brown. But yeah, it was
So I think that
totally different.
The passive approach is good if it works.
Yeah, with the right people.
Yeah, with the right people, for sure. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm big on that too, where I feel like I'm running the shop now here in town. And I feel like for me, it's one of those things like, you guys are supposed to be adults. Just do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Come and go as you please. You have a key. You pay booth rent. Like, I'm not your dad. You know what I mean? I'm not your mama. Like, if you need anything, you let me know. Otherwise, like, everyone does their own thing. Everybody's cool. Just get along. It could be cool,
Yeah.
And right. Oh, good. Right attitudes, right mentalities.
Yeah, I think we have a great shop, though. We have the people that are there want to be there, and they act
for the most part. Everybody gets along really well.
Oh yeah, yeah, we all get along great.
Yeah.
I also, in town, we have as many female or more female tattooers than we do male in our shop, and that's really cool because I feel like when I really started wanting to tattoo, that's not what you saw. It was always a very, very male. Very male dominated sport for sure. And so to see a lot of females, we all get along. I really like to see that in the shop too.
Where are things going? Where is the craft headed? Where's the art headed? Where is just the culture in general going? What are the trends?
I believe that it is, tattooing is booming at any rate. I feel like it's more alive than it has been in a very long time. And it's very out in the forefront. I feel like
it's definitely super mainstream.
I'm seeing ads at HP and all these things. All these models have tattoos. It's fucking for the world. So tattooing in general has gone ape shit since I started, to say the least. And I foresee the future being fairly good. I mean, there's a lot of people in the world and a lot of campuses at that rate. And, people like to have the look. People want to have things that mean something to themselves. And, people are humans in a base level are trying to mark themselves at any rate. And,
set themselves apart.
Yeah, they set themselves apart, make themselves individual at some rate. And the business is great, honestly. Like I've been great. We've definitely fed our family off this, as a career. I feel like it's a great job if you do it right. And
if you have self-discipline, you're a self-starter.
There's not a lot of rules in tattooing, so I feel like it's one of those things where you have to be disciplined at some rate, if not within yourself. But I think the business is awesome, and I foresee it going even higher than it is now and even further than it is now. And some of the tattoos that are being produced now are like, mind blowing. It was mind blowing 20 years ago. Now, like some of the shit you see is incredible. Some of the artists that are out now, and some of these guys that are foreign and doing these things from other countries, and you see it come across your Instagram or your pages, and you're just like, dude, it's kind of fucking crazy, to be honest with you. But good, all positive in my eyes.
Yeah, it's definitely evolving.
Yeah, definitely evolving. It's not the same animal it was.
Who are some of your favorite artists that you're seeing when you're scrolling Instagram or wherever else?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm going through, I follow a lot of like artists as well too. So like it just depends. But I mean, like, as far as artists go, like Kyler Martz or like Mac Blackout or like Revoke's like a big graffiti guy, or like there's some artists that are doing things that are just kind of fucking crazy. But tattooing wise, like Water Street Phantom, if you ever see that guy, he's from Australia, super fucking sick. Or Rice Gordon is a guy I know from Australia. Rice is fucking sick. I talked to a lot of guys in Japan. Jiro is amazing, like Mutso is really good. Chris Garver in New York City, like there's so many good guys, and then even then like my local guys like Steve Gatros in Louisville, Jimison in Louisville,
Luke.
Luke Wolf Jr. is in Indianapolis, super good tattooer. Like I said, the old guys, I mean, Dana, Corey, Mike Dorsey is a friend of mine. Mike Dorsey is fucking insane. I go to his studio in Cincinnati, and it's like, it's mind blowing. Like if you ever just want to feel little, just go and see how productive Mike Dorsey is. He'll just make you feel a certain type of way, but couldn't be a nicer guy, couldn't be a better guy. But just getting around and seeing folks tattoo, Corey Flatmo, great tattooer. Randy Horioki, these guys, I go all over the country. So like just seeing, crazy tattooers, and even like in Puerto Rico, my friend Hari, this dude named Hari Silk is amazing. Super big Japanese bodysuits, happening in Puerto Rico on an island, thousands of miles from here. And Hari shits on most people in the country. So it's just like, you know what I mean? Like just seeing folks that are just like really fucking tattooing and not really, dealing with everybody else. They're just kind of doing their thing and being their own little individual guy. And, I really like that kind of thing. Randy Randerson's one of the best guys in tattooing. Works hard, builds machines, makes t-shirts, runs 12 businesses, has 25 kids.
Yeah.
Like, Randy's the fucking man, so like, as far as like inspiration for me, probably those guys, Josh Orioki, painted some big murals with Josh, like those guys are great. I think artists is what inspired me. Like other guys that are just trying to be fucking artists, like they're just trying to be out there. They're not trying to be this big headed guy that's, fucking overblown and all this stuff. I think that like the guy that's just trying to be the fucking guy is my favorite guy.
For sure.
And inspiring, I suppose.
How about you, Matt?
I'm not as good at pulling out names like that.
Sure.
I can think like off the top of my head, like Matt Curzon, especially. Like I love his stuff. Just his saturation, his color, and just the designs. I was really into Destroy Troy, I mentioned earlier. Another friend of mine, Brian McCormick, Springfield. He does a good job. He's awesome. I used to work for him down there. As far as like other artists I follow that aren't tattooers, like it's a lot of cartoonists, honestly, like old cartoon pages, toy pages, a lot of vinyl. Really just stuff like that. Electric Zombie, I like his stuff.
Cool.
He's kind of all over the place.
You ever see Wonky Tiger?
No. I don't think so.
Is this guy that makes comics, and it's kind of like heavy. It almost looks like heavy metal. I would describe it as like heavy metal comics, but I met him a couple summers ago. He was sharing a booth with a guy I know named Dan Tipton, and I didn't realize it was that guy. If you like that kind of thing, you might like that Wonky Tiger guy.
Yeah, but I just typed it down, so I'll check it out.
Yeah, totally like gnarly heavy metal comic book looking stuff. and he does art, but he tattoos as well. But he does these comic books, and they're super cool, dude. You might be into them.
Yeah, I'll check them out for sure. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I find inspiration and like that's what I'm saying. Like all those things that you think are cool, I think could energize you or make you feel a certain type of way to make your tattoos cooler. You know, like I feel like who wants to be like at the shop uninspired? You know.
Yeah.
Right.
I love super traditional artists that come through, like Burt Crack, something that's super like broken down to the bare minimum and make it, you could read it from outer space and it's still just the best thing you've seen. And then Chad Keplinger, who just does, like, I feel like I'd have to eat mushrooms to paint like him sometimes, you know.
We were just with a couple summers ago, but Chad's mind-blowing, dude.
Yeah, he's great.
Amazing.
Even local artists that like Jared Peters over here owns
Jared's the man.
Untold, and his stuff is super mean looking, very traditional.
He's doing glass painting.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of glass painting with Herfer. And
I know that guy's awesome.
Herfer's
dope, dude.
signs. Yeah, real great stuff.
That's what made me want to paint glass. Was his page actually? I saw him do one. I was like, I want to give that a shot.
Dude, yeah, they're doing some cool stuff, and I haven't attempted the glass yet. But I implore people, like, if you think that's cool, fucking try it.
Yeah, it's fun. Sorry to interrupt.
Ever, you know?
For sure.
That's
and then
perfectly fine.
I love, like as we said, Luke Wolf Jr. and Professor York. I love taking it back to the super old school and just
making it cool.
Making it nice, making it cool, you know?
And straighten it out.
Yeah.
Whatever you gotta do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, let me ask you this. Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I just follow other like portrait artists, other random artists, but I feel like, inspiration from everywhere, but try to keep the basic rules for myself. That's what I want to do with tattooing.
So let me ask you this, as we get closer to perhaps wrapping things up, what have we not touched on that you would like to address or feel maybe wasn't explored through any of the other questions or discussion?
Well, and since you got me on thinking about it on the topic, I suppose, I feel like we covered everything pretty well as far as tattooing goes, you know, technology and future and past and all that kind of thing. I think maybe, you know, if we had like a closing deal, maybe what would a general statement be to the public? You know what I mean? Like, if you're listening to this podcast, what do I want you to gain from it? You know?
Well, you tell me. We're live. You know, go ahead.
I say that you should go and get tattooed and, you know, put the money in the hands of artists that are trying to do cool things or, you know, like buy art or, you know, put yourself out there a little bit to get something really unique or something cool. And, you know, tattooing is well and alive and, you know, it's only going to go up from here. And I just heard the other day that the fucking military is like going to allow people with neck tattoos to get in. So like, you know, you guys are fucked now. So just wait for all those guys to hear that. It's fucking on now. So, you know, God bless, I suppose. Good luck out there in the trenches of the town. You know,
go get tattooed. For your local artists.
Yeah, support your local artists and go get tattooed, I suppose.
My turn?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. I would say just like for the general client, I would say, you know, if you're going to get a tattoo, you know, pick an artist whose stuff you really like that you're really going to trust and dictate as little as possible and you'll get a really good tattoo out of it. You know, I feel like a lot of times I'll get clients that'll just want to like dictate every single corner of the tattoo and then they end up ruining their own tattoo. And if they would just say, I want a bird, do a bird, you know, they'd get a better tattoo, I think.
1,000%.
You know, it's more inspiring for sure to just be like, all right, cool, I have free range to do what I want instead of trying to get in the box inside of someone else's head. They figure out what they're thinking exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Instead of just being like, you're a cool artist, I want you to do this exact thing for me.
But cool.
Yeah, when they start dictating, that's when honestly, I start getting like nervous and like pressuring myself too hard, and that's it. You know, it all comes out through it in one way or another. You know,
I think that takes the fun out of it. You know,
yeah, for sure.
Out of it for sure. You know, And I've talked to people about that. I've talked to Corey Flatmo about that, and he told me for over an hour about how people try to micromanage his process, and to the point where, like, listen, you've seen me in magazines, you've done these things, you've seen the research, like, you know who I am, and you're still going to micromanage me. Like, I'm just trying to get a nice tattoo for you.
Yeah,
just
it makes no sense.
Guarantee you'll probably be happy. And that's a big thing too, for sure.
I can't remember the last time I got tattooed and wasn't just like, this is the space, go for it.
For sure.
Yeah, for
Those
sure.
are the
Or
best
just been
clients.
like, what do you have on the wall? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lately, what have you drawn lately?
What do you want to do?
Those are the best ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I got a couple guys like that right now that are great. They just come in and like do something cool, and I'm just like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
Like
that would be cool to be like a tattooer's tattooer,
For sure.
Someone who they come in knowing that you're just going to do something cool and let you do it all hours of the day. Wouldn't that be?
That's the dream.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, hey, let's wrap it up here. I feel like that's a good breaking point. I want to thank you all for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.